I mean, I suppose I can't be too angry whenever I take something off of the list because then it's just less money that I have to spend, especially when you're a college student and you don't necessarily have money like that. Um, so the next book is Warlock Senator, and it's actually the second book in the Dragon Assassins. Wrong book series. In the Dragon's Champion series. Um, Dragon Assassin was that was a few videos ago. Anyway, um, it came out in 2014 and it's a fantasy book. So we start like right where we left off with the conflict that was happening between the Locken and the Sedru family, but I refuse to talk about it until I understand it. Locken gets arrested. Lepkin is healing well, but Eric's mind is slipping away and they don't really know where it's going. Um, I promise you, I read the whole thing and I had to reread some of it twice because I didn't really understand what was happening. A lot of the political stuff was kind of lost on me, which is why I'm not a poli sci major. Um, like Lepkin is not Lepkin. Lotkin is arrested and like framed for something, and like one of the families is like, hey, I'll let you go loose if you do this thing for me, and Lotkin's like, I have integrity, so no. But I don't really know what that thing was. Maybe it has something to do with the king dying. I don't know. The two story there seem it feels like there are two plots happening. There's the magical plot that Eric and Lepkin are dealing with, and there's the not magical plot that Lotkin and Cedric are dealing with, but they don't feel connected. And the Lotkin one doesn't feel important to anybody besides Eric. Like, if the dragons come and they get infected by that Nagar's book thingy or whatever, that's a problem for everyone because there will be dragons and they're going to burn shit up. Like, that's a problem. Um, I don't know. There's also like a prophecy, and like Eric might be the bad guy. He might be like a false hero, and I don't understand that either. Um, Lepkin lost his memory, and both of them have switched bodies. Eric and Lepkin have switched bodies. Um, Eric's magic acts from within an object, so he's able to bend things to his will. So his soul entered Lepkin's body, and Lepkin's spirit complied, but then Eric didn't leave. So, um, to defend Lord Lotkin, Lepkin needs to be at Senate, and this is a problem because Eric wants to help, but he's not in his own body right now, and Lepkin doesn't know who he is and is also inside the body of a 16-year-old. Um, Healing later, Eric's getting better at magic. Also, Lepkin's body can turn into a dragon. A warlock is after him, and Al the dwarf has learned this, and that's pretty cool. Master Oris might actually be a good guy. I might have prejudged him. Lord Sedge's family is playing with dark magic. Lord Lotkin's arrestor wants his fealty, but Lotkin refuses. There's going to be a power vacuum soon due to the king being sick and near death. Eric and Al get attacked. Eric is really good at pretending to be Lepkin. Senator Bracken needs Eric and Lepkin separated. And I mean, they're separated, but I don't imagine it was with Eric inside Lepkin's body with access to Lepkin's magic. Marlin is deciphering the prophecy, and he thinks that the false hero might be Eric inside Lepkin's body because technically it means he's false, which is how most of these prophecies work. And they get to Senate, and they fight the warlock because Senator Bracken is a warlock. Lotkin got killed by something. I don't know what. I thought he was supposed to be killed by like his son, but I'm pretty sure Eric didn't kill him. And the warlock, they didn't end up killing him, and he's not dead. Eric ended up turning into a dragon. I think I already said that. I don't remember. So, like, I loved the first book, and I got lost in the middle of the first book too, but I still knew what was going on, kind of. Um, there are just too many threads going on, like Master Oris and the Senator and Lord Cedru and Eric and Marlin, and it's a lot, and it makes the book very messy. Um, the prophecy might be more literal than first thought, which is fair. Um, so many politics. I like the first book way more than I like this one, but I mean, that wasn't hard. First books are like supposed to be that way, kind of, because like it's what drew you to the series in the first place. Um, and like after you read the entire series, then you develop a different favorite book. And like my favorite Harry Potter book is the third one. Most people's favorite Harry Potter book is the third one, but the first book is what drew us all into it, despite that long ass scene with the Dursleys at the beginning. Um, the book is probably not even that messy. I just require less politics and more magic in my fantasy, which is fair. And books like this are why I have the wouldn't read again list, because it's not like it's necessarily bad. I don't think it's a bad book. Sam Ferguson can write, that's fine. I just think that it's hard for me to get through, and like I need a balance of magic and world building, and this book doesn't seem to have that. I also need a tiny bit of whimsy in my books. Um, I don't. I genuinely don't know if I'm going to read the next books. I think I'm going to have to read the descriptions of them to figure that out. Um, yeah, the journey just felt way too big. Uh, I got time. Yeah, I'll do one more book. Um, so the next book is called Mother of Shadows, and it's a 2017 fantasy by Meg Ann. Um, it's not a sequel, so the intro is super short. I think this is actually like one of the first. I think this is like like out of all of the books that I've read so far, I think this is like the fourth book that's not a sequel. Um, there's this chick. Her name is Helena. She's living the simple life. Everything is cool. But then like a childhood friend comes back. His name is Darren, and he's like, "Hey, you're a queen." And Helena's like, "What?" um, so they call it a Kiri, and there's a prophecy that Kiri will arise who is more powerful than any before her, and that person is going to be Helena. And the last Damaskiri is dead, so they need her. And yeah, um, I'd be honest, a lot of this book is just Helena learning how to be a Damaskiri, so I didn't end up reading a lot of it because y'all heard me talk for the last 6 minutes about why I don't enjoy politics in my fantasy. Um, So they have a festival so that Helena can meet all of her potential mates and she can be courted and they can find her mate. And she has a circle, which is her council. Her mate's going to be a part of that. Everyone has one perfect mate. Um, Only Vaughn really shakes her soul, but he's, of course, edgy bad boy style from the group of people who is like the traitors or something like that. And yeah, Jillian is a girl who's pretending to be Helena's friend, and she's the kid of the last Damaskiri, and the last Damaskiri isn't actually dead, she's just evil. Um, Helena gets her magic, and she does the trial, and she and Vaughn get bonded, and they officially bond, and no one really likes Vaughn for obvious reasons. His family tried to kill a Damaskiri, but that was years and years and years ago, and Helena's like, no, I want to heal everything and make everything better, which I can appreciate. She's kind of like Dany in that way from Game of Thrones. Um, it is called Mother of Shadows, so take from that what you will. And politics, lots and lots of politics. And then at the end of the book, Jillian kidnaps Vaughn, so that's pretty fun. And like, I've read Game of Thrones, and Game of Thrones has a lot of politics in it, but like, I started reading Game of Thrones probably in like like ninth or 10th grade, and I'm almost out of college now. I hate books that have way too much politics in them. I still haven't gotten through the entirety of the fifth Game of Thrones book because there's just so much politics. And like there's not enough happening. In the first Game of Thrones book, you got like all of this stuff happening because he has to set up everything. But as the story goes on, I'm just bored. It's just a lot of people just waiting around for stuff to happen. Um, like our own politics out here in the real world are already so messy, so I don't want to read about more messy politics. I don't want to read about your metaphors for totalitarianism and capitalism destroying the world and stuff like that. I really don't. Um, like, Micah is Jillian's brother, and he was also a potential mate, and he completely disapproves of like everything, but I don't think he knows what's happening and what his sister is doing. I don't even think that he knows that their mother is still alive. um I do like the characters though, but at this point when it comes to the characters, as long as they don't completely piss me off, that's more than enough. um I also, I think, I don't know why. I don't remember what the description was for this book, but I think I wanted more love story. Like, I wanted, which isn't a usual thing for me to say, I wanted a girl learning her life, confronting tradition, and falling in love with the enemy who would be like not actually the enemy, who would be in Vaughn's situation. And like the enemy would be people trying to preserve the tradition but and want her out, but she's the most powerful person so they can't get rid of her. Some self doubt and sudden confidence later, bada bing, she's better and wins. Like, I don't know. I guess I just wanted that story, but I really don't know what I was expecting because I don't remember what the description says. Um, that's probably why I enjoy Everlasting so much, because there's people doing things other than talking and being passive aggressive. Because like by the nature of the fact that they are being chased, like things have to happen, and there's also love story and Cat learning about everything. Um, like my two least favorite things in fantasy are fights that I can't follow and politics, because they're both very confusing for me. So, this book also, like Warlock Senator, is part of the reason why I have the wouldn't read again list, because it's not a bad book. I just don't want to read the rest of them. It kind of reminds me of Brightest Kind of Darkness, but just like better. So there's that at least. Um, I feel like if I tried to combine both these lists, then some of the books would move up to like the good book list. I don't know. The good book, like the whole list thing is very fluid, and as I read more books, it changes. And also, as I do these reviews, it changes because I finished some of these books months ago. So, yeah, it goes at the top of the wouldn't read again list. So, it's not a bad book though. And if politics is your thing, I suggest that you read it because I think it's good. I just wouldn't want to read it again. That is the important thing. When I say something is on the wouldn't read again list, unless I explicitly say that it is a bad book, it's not. Um, yeah.